Kasamh Se was an Indian soap opera produced by Ekta Kapoor of Balaji Telefilms that premiered on January 16, 2006 on Zee TV and aired Monday to Thursday through March 12, 2009. The story dealt with the trials and tribulations of three sisters, Bani, Pia and Rano. Plot summary: Kasamh Se is the story of three young women who are sisters, but very different from each other in nature. Bani, Praki Desai/Gudiap is the eldest, mature and responsible. Pia, Roshni Chopra/Mansi Verma, is the middle child, modern and glamorous. Rano, Arunima Sharma/Pallavi Purohit, is the youngest, studious and intelligent. After their father's death, the sisters go to Mumbai to live with a family of middle-aged, wealthy business tycoon, Zee Walia. Bani falls in love with Zee's young employee, Pushkar. But Pushkar and Pia love each other, so Bani sacrifices her love for the sake of her sister. Zee falls in love with Pia and proposes to her. She agrees to marry him for his wealth. However, moments before the wedding, Pia elopes with Pushkar and Pushkar marries Pia. Zee's domineering young sister Jigjasa, Ashwini Kalska/Jara Bhattacharya, doesn't want the Walia family to be humiliated. So, she forces Bani to take Pia's place as the bride. She ends up marrying Bani. Their relationship gets off to a rocky start but, with time, they become friends. Jigsa's unmarried daughter, Anu, Dilnas Shroff, has a boyfriend named Rohit, Karan Patel/Saurabh Raj Jain, and she is expecting his child. Bani tries to arrange their marriage. But Rohit's father has a condition: his son will marry Anu, only if Jigsa's younger son Sale, Prashant Ranayal, marries Rohit's young sister Rashi, Swati Anand, at the same time. The Walia family accepts this proposal. Unknown to everyone, Sale and Rano love each other. Sale gets engaged to Rashi, but he and Rano are unable to forget their mutual love. They elope and get married. Sale's elder brother Ranbir, Siddharth Vasudh, then agrees to marry Rashi. Everybody is happy about this. In the meantime, Bani and Zee are attracted to each other and consummate their relationship. Later, a dark secret comes out. It is revealed that, 7 years ago, Bani's mother was killed in a road accident by Zee. He is filled with remorse. Bani, who is expecting Zee's child, leaves the Walia mansion. However, in time, she realizes how much she loves her husband. Then, she learns that Jigjasa and Ranbir want to take over Zee's properties. To protect Zee, Bani asks him for a divorce and a large share of his wealth. Meanwhile, Pia, who has broken off with Pushkar because Pushkar throws out Pia out of his house because Pia has aborted his child, gets interested in Zee. When Zee goes on a business trip to Dubai, Pia accompanies him. She drugs him and they have a one-night stand, leaving Zee shaken up. The problem regarding the Walia properties is sorted out and Bani no longer needs to press for a divorce. Meanwhile, she discovers that her mother had not been killed by Zee, but had committed suicide. Unfortunately, Bani is attacked by a mysterious stranger and loses her unborn child. When Zee returns, Bani asks for forgiveness and confesses her love to him. Zee becomes ecstatic and reunites with her. Pia tries to convince Bani that she is having an extramarital affair. On Bani's first wedding anniversary, while the celebrations are at full swing, it is revealed that Pia is expecting Zee's child. Zee does not know what to do. Bani is also expecting a child. She comes to know of Zee's one-night stand. She goes into a state of shock. When she comes to her senses, she forgives not only Zee but also Pia. Ranbir starts caring for Rashi, whom he had initially disliked. But she leaves him and goes away because she has a serious illness. Pia, meanwhile, is planning revenge against Bani. 3. Rano's husband Sale gets killed in mysterious circumstances. The family members then get Rano, who has just given birth to a baby boy, married to Ranbir. Bani decides to investigate the death of Sale. Then, Pia gives birth to a baby boy whom she names Veer. Later it is revealed that it was Pia who got Sale killed. Pia has framed Bani for the murder by showing some fake footage in which Sale is saying that Bani wants to kill him. Pia blackmails Zee, saying he can choose between Bani getting 5 years in mental asylum or life imprisonment. Zee realizes that 5 years are better than a life sentence. Helpless, he testifies in court that Bani is insane, thus sending her to mental asylum. In the asylum, Bani delivers twin babies, but she takes them away. Later, Bani runs away from the asylum and secretly arrives at the Whaley mansion. Zee is forced to call the police and they get after Bani. In an attempt to save herself, Bani enters a place where a wildfire has broken out. She is trapped in the fire and everybody then assumes she has burned to death. Zee is shocked and falls into depression. In this depressed state, he gets married to the evil Pia. However, Bani is saved by a handsome stranger named Aparajit Deb. He gives her shelter in his house. 5 years later, now 5 years pass by and many changes take place in the Whaley house. Zee has become unfeeling after losing his love. Pia and Jijlisa frequent parties, nightclubs, discos and cinemas. In short, they enjoy life to the fullest. Pia does not take care of her son Veer or Bani's children. Rano hates Pia for what she has done. Ranbir has turned over a new leaf and is now in love with Rano. Bani harbors a deep hatred and anger for the Whaley family for what they did to her. Zee and Bani's kids Athava and Krishna are now 5-year-olds. Deb knows everything about Bani and transforms her into a strong, confident woman hellbent on getting revenge. Bani changes her name to Durga and lives with Deb's family. Deb is an equally angry and vengeful man, who has lost the love of his life, Pallavi, and believes she is responsible for this. He teaches Durga how to take proper revenge against Zee. One day, Zee sees Durga and instantly knows she is Bani. He runs after her and succeeds in holding her as then, a bomb blast occurs in which she is badly injured. Bani takes him to the hospital and there the Whaley family sees her. Pia chases Bani to the Deb house but Bani throws her sister out, saying that she is Durga. Pia joins hands with Jijlisa to ruin Bani aka Durga. He tells the police to arrest Meera, who is charged with Sale's murder and ought to be in jail. But, this attempt fails and Durga aka Bani hates the Whaley family even more. Bani regularly visits her children in school and Zee is ecstatic when he sees her. This happiness is quickly crushed when Durga destroys the Whaley business. She feels unhappy, however, to see Zee in a helpless state and realizes that she still loves him. Aparajit Deb falls in love with Durga. Now caught in a love triangle, Durga reverts to her old self Bani, when she learns that whatever she did was only to save her. Zee then explains that he was not responsible for what happened to Pallavi and Aparajit leaves, satisfied. Bani throws Pia out of the house. Pia meets with an accident owing to which she becomes paralyzed. Bani and Rano decides to help their sister. Just when everything seems alright, Zee finds that he has lost all his property and wealth. To save Zee from ruin, Bani goes to her hometown to arrange for money by getting her house demolished. Later, Rashi gets cured and returns home. Ranbir does not know what to do. He decides to kill Rashi so that he can live peacefully with Rano. But, Bani arrives in time to save Rashi. Ranbir is sent to jail. Jijlisa swears to take revenge on Bani. Bani meets Daksh, a mentally unstable young man. He mysteriously calms down whenever he sees Bani and has deep affection for her. Bani finds out this is because she had an identical twin sister named Anamika. When they were born, her mother gave Anamika to a childless friend. Daksh and Anamika were in love but she died and since then, he has been mentally unstable. Bani helps Daksh get better and they become good friends. Then, Bani's twin children are kidnapped and murdered. Bani is thrown out of the house after a misunderstanding caused by Jijlisa, who convinces Zee that Bani has an affair with Daksh. Zee's aunt Bilo Marcy sides with Bani and decides to leave the house with her. Bani, who is miserable, decides to kill herself but Marcy and Daksh save her, and it is found that she is expecting a child. Now, Bani decides to live for the sake of her baby daughter Ganga. At the Walia mansion, Zee gets married to his office secretary Meera but does not love her, because he feels his capacity for trust has been destroyed. 5 years later, Bani changes her name to Methili and lives with Ganga in a small town. 5 years later, they return to Mumbai. Bani and Zee come face to face again and he insults her. Owing to debts and financial problems, Bani takes up a job as a waitress in a restaurant. Zee often meets her there and always insults her. One day, he bribes the manager to get her sacked from the job. Bani becomes worried as money is short and she has no job. Meanwhile, Ganga befriends Rashi's daughter Vijaya, and starts visiting the Walia family. Meera also has motherly feeling for Ganga. Meera becomes friends with Bani and helps her with money. Bani does not know that Meera is Zee's wife. One day, while playing, Ganga badly hurts herself and needs to be hospitalized. But the hospital staff refuses to admit her without a cash deposit. Bani helplessly goes to Zee's office and begs him for money. Zee humiliates Bani but gives her the money. Later Zee finds out that Ganga is his daughter. Then, it is found that Ganga has cancer, which can only be cured by transplanting bone marrow from her biological brother or sister. Zee and Bani have to reunite to cure Ganga. Bani returns to the Walia mansion, and gradually, Zee again starts to love her. When he learns that Bani never had an affair with Daksh, he begs her forgiveness and confesses his love to her. But, Bani flatly rejects his proposal and leaves after spending one night with him. Bani then finds Pia, paralyzed and in a wheelchair, and it's revealed that Pia knows who had killed Athava and Krishna. Daksh also finds out the identity of the killer but, before he can reveal anything, he is murdered. Bani gives birth to twins, again, and names them Athava and Krishna after her first 2 children. Soon, to her horror, she finds out that the killer of her children was Meera. 5 years ago, Meera had got the Walia twins murdered because she wanted to separate Bani from Zee, whom she wanted to marry. Now, there is a showdown between Bani and Meera. Meera beats Bani's head against the rocks and sets her on fire. Bani falls off a cliff into the water below. Her newborn son Athava, who Meera had taken, gets lost in the woods. Bani is assumed to be dead, which completely shatters Zee. However, Bani has survived the ordeal. She is found and taken to the hospital. She has been badly burned. So she gets a new appearance after plastic surgery. Bani awakens with a new face and finds that she has lost all her memory and doesn't remember who she is. The elderly man who saved her adopts her as his daughter and names her Prunita. She repeatedly sketches portraits of her old face but doesn't recognize it as hers, since she doesn't remember the past. She also has frequent, though confusing, flashbacks to Meera's attack on her. 16 years later, introduction of Gudiya Kali as Prunita, Zee gives a surprise to Meera on her birthday. Meanwhile, in Kolkata, Prunita sketches an unfinished portrait and tells Parthu that the day she's able to complete it, she'll know about her past life. Parthu asks her to get ready for her birthday. Ganga gets a wedding proposal, and Zee is very worked up. Parthu asks Prunita to go to Mount Abu for a painting exhibition but she says that the day she finishes the incomplete sketch, she will go. However, Parthu insists her to go there. Prunita goes to the temple near the place where she was attacked and falls unconscious but Zee catches her. Then she meets Zee Walia, though he doesn't recognize her because of her different face. Prunita finally draws Bani's face after 16 years of trying to do it and wins the first position in the competition. Zee sees the drawing and is angry. He tells her that is his wife Bani. Then he takes the drawing and puts it in Bani's old house. Prunita then goes to the temple again and reads that Bani is dead but still never gives up hope of knowing how her past is connected to Bani. Ganga pretends like she is good. It is revealed that she is the one who refused to get married. Meera knows about Ganga's secret life but covers on her and gives her the freedom. Prunita decides to go to Mumbai to find out the truth about her past life and Bani. She gets the opportunity to teach Ganga drawing and accepts the offer immediately, which relieves Zee. She is then invited to the Walia household. Varun and Vicky return from America. Mira actually never liked Jee's daughters. Pranita finds out about that when in the elevator with Jee, but at the same time her bag falls and Jee sees the smokes pack. Ganga makes an excuse and Jee believes her. It is then revealed that Pranita's adoption father is the one who planned to send her to Mumbai for her to remember. For the first time after 16 years, all her flashbacks become clear. She remembers everything. Shocked, Pranita vows to revenge on Mira. She exposes Mira by recording a footage of her and sending it to her on Mother's anniversary. Jee sees it along, becomes aware. Mira threatens him and admits that she knew everything and she ruined their life because they are Bani's daughters and she hates Bani. Jee, being so desperate, decides to commit suicide. Bani arrives and prevents Jee from committing suicide and they both plan to destroy Mira and restore the kids' minds. Jee gives them the freedom to do anything and in return he pretends to marry Pranita, which shocks everyone, where he tells his kids that he learned the freedom concept from them. She never revealed she is Bani because they won't believe her, or at least she thinks so. Mira puts Ganga in jail for a crime Vicky did and makes Ganga think that she will save her. Pranita wakes Vicky's conscious and he realizes the truth about his mother. Thanks to Pranita, both of them are saved, but Ganga hates her still. Then drug peddlers blackmail Krishna, and Mira misguides her. Pranita pretends to marry Jeewalia for money only. Pranita hears Baba talking to someone about her. She also finds a memorandum between his books that has all information about her. He denies that he knew anything about her and that he just wrote that. Jigyasa is revealed to be the one whom Patu is talking to the whole time. She says that Bani is still stupid after 16 years and she doesn't know that she is Mira's and her enemy, and she hates them both. Pranita suspects he is working with Mira. She sees him talking to someone but the person hides. She takes a shard of glass and threats him that she will suicide if he doesn't speak, but is stopped. Pranita is shocked to see Jigyasa. Jigyasa scolds her for taunting Baba. Jigyasa tells her that 16 years ago she ran away from jail and met Patu. Then she went to Mount Abu to meet Bani but found Mira fighting with her. She tells how Mira burned Bani and had blackmailed her to confess to be the murderer of the kids 16 years ago. Jigyasa took the burned Bani to Patu. She tells how she helped Bani regain her memories and her life back. Jigyasa tells Bani that for 16 years she has waited to get justice. Jigyasa convinces her that she wants to prove her innocence. Jigyasa tells Bani that she wants to see Mira suffer. She promises to help Bani. Pranita holds a party and Mira is drunk. Pranita had replaced her face powder with drugs. Mira is drunk and dances to Hawa Hawaii and insults Aditya, Rashi and Dodi. She gets in a fight with Dodi and Jigyasa cracks up laughing behind the scene. Ganga meanwhile has a boyfriend, Rishi. In the party, Jeewalia is very angry with Pranita for having fun while Krishna is jailed and pulls her downstairs, ready to throw her out. But Vidal, cousin of Krishna, has invited the drug peddlers and tricks them by outsmarting them, and they confess their crimes in front of the police, secretly watching. They get jailed and Krishna will come out. Then the police reveals in front of Jee that Pranita did this all and was with connection with them the whole time and she didn't do it for money. He looks for Pranita, who is missing. Pranita and Jee have some romance. The next day Krishna comes back home. Mira awakes, not remembering anything of the night before. She now finds that Pranita tricked her. The family is mad at Mira for the drunk night before. Krishna comes and Mira expects her to go to her, but instead she walks past Mira to Pranita and thanks her. Krishna yells at Mira saying she has realized her cruel intentions. Jigyasa and Pranita celebrate. Krishna is very mad at Mira. Vicky supports Krishna that Mira is bad. Ganga meets Pratush, her new boyfriend, by a coincidental misunderstanding. Jigyasa sneaks into the house as a holy person in disguise. She pretends to massage Mira and helps cure her headache in a traditional way as she says, but really gives her a sleep-inducing potion and hits her. Pranita turns off the lights, and lets Jigyasa tie the Rakhi to Jee. Jee thinks it is Rashi tying it. Then he finds out it was not and feels as it was Jigyasa since she used the same Rakhi. Pranita hurriedly says it was Dodi, who has memory problems. She denies it but then says whatever it might be her but she forgot. Jijlisa cries a lot. She meets Aditya, who does not know it is her. It's Dodi's birthday. They celebrate her birthday. Ganga meets her boyfriend and has a very nice time. She is so happy she is even nice to Pranita. Pranita and Zee suspect something. Meanwhile Meera is really angry about Pranita being happy and decides to destroy all the happiness she has. There is a puja in the house. Meera makes all the arrangements to give a good image to the family of herself. Pranita and Jigyasa make a plan, pranking her with Dodi to go outside to get something for the puja. Jigyasa secretly dumps a dirty smell chemical on her while in the garden. Pranita performs the puja. The family is mad at Meera for coming in with a dirty smelly and disgracing the family. Pranita tells Zee to talk to Ganga about her new relation. Ganga is encouraged by Zee to date her boyfriend Pratash. She wishes her mother Bani was there. Pranita listens to all this and cries out of happiness and sadness. Ganga's marriage with Pratash is fixed. In order not to disgrace her, the Walia family decides to put on an act that Meera is Zee's wife. Ganga's marriage prep starts. Her engagement happens. Pranita finds out that Meera is working with someone but can't find out who. During Ganga's wedding preparations Meera fulfills the role of a mother. Rano says to everyone that Pranita is her sister. Then she thanks Pranita for complying. Pranita is sad and is reminded of her earlier times with Rano, who is really her sister. Pranita Bani works with Sonali, Jigyasa, Rishi and Partha to show Ganga the true colors of her husband to be in his family, that they work against her. The marriage is broken, Pratash is exposed and Ganga cries. Rishi proposes to her and she refuses. Pranita tells Rishi not to give up if he loves her. He proposes to her in front of everyone and the marriage is done. Meera soon figures out that Pranita is Bani. Meera attempts to kill Bani the same way she did 16 years ago. Bani is able to stand up and fight against Meera, but instead has mercy on her and does not kill Meera. However, Meera does not show any remorse and slashes at Bani's head with a trident, rendering her unconscious. Meera finally plans to kill Bani once and for all, but Jigyasa reveals herself to protect her. Then she arrives and sees Jigyasa. She tells him that Meera was the one responsible of all the family sadness and problems and that she killed Athava and Krishna and also Bani. He realizes the truth thanks to Jigyasa. Meera tries to attack Jigyasa but she protects her. Everyone arrives and sees Jigyasa. She is very furious. He tries to choke and kill Meera once and for all. Jigyasa, Aditya and Rano beg him to stop otherwise he will go to jail with it. The police arrives and they immediately arrest Meera and send her to jail. Vicky feels bad about his mom's deeds. But Aditya persuades him to come back home. Rishi tries to help Ganga get over her grief. Aditya reunites Jigyasa to the family and appreciates her. Bani leaves the hospital. Jigyasa tells her that her vow is fulfilled. Jigyasa tells Bani that she will get her identity soon. The Walias leave for Mumbai. She tells Vicky not to feel bad. Jigyasa tells Bani that she doesn't want her to answer the questions of the family members alone. Jigyasa explains to Bani how her plan failed. Pia and Rano identify Pranita as Bani. They hug and the three decide to fight the battle against Jigyasa. Krishna and others wish to spend time with Rishi and Ganga. Bani, Pia and Rano decide to defeat Jigyasa by playing her own trick on her. The case of Bani's death is opened again. The inspector reveals that Jigyasa was present 16 years ago in Mount Abu during Bani's murder. Jigyasa denies to have murdered Bani and says that she saved Bani instead. Finally Jigyasa admits that Bani is alive and Pranita herself is Bani. Aditya asks Jigyasa to leave. Bani tries to stop her, but Jigyasa does not heed. The family members reunite with Bani, special moment with Ganga and others here. Finally Zee stops his plane and returns to Bani. Zee feels joyous at realizing that Pranita is Bani. He and Bani reunite happily after 16 long years. Bani wakes up to break her fast as Bani Walia, not Pranita. After 17 years, Zee and Bani have a proper meeting and fall in love all over again. They renew their vows once again to not separate from each other, and give thanks to God by visiting temples, churches, and mosques. As Zee and Bani romance, the family tells Zee and Bani's love story to the kids. Jigyasa instigates Veer against Bani, Pushkar dies, Jigyasa volunteers to help Veer's rival, Mr. Khanna, humiliate Veer. Khanna informs the media persons that Veer is actually Zee's son, not Pushkar's. Zee admits on television that Veer is indeed his son. Veer gives Khanna a fit reply. The cop informs Zee that Meera has escaped from prison and warns him that Bani's life is in danger. The children decide to have a masquerade party for New Year but Zee refuses. However, Bani insists that there will be a party. 1 year has passed by. The Walia family has shifted to Mount Abu. Jigyasa remembers Bani on seeing Ganga taking care of the entire family just like her. Walia family celebrates the festival of Holi in full swing. Everyone gets elated on seeing Bani and Zee at the Holi celebrations. Zee has fully recovered from his paralysis and is back to normal. Everyone rejoices together and the old Bani too joins in the celebration. Other versions telecasts. Arabic dubbed version was broadcast on Zee under the name Al White Omuo to the first O Arabic for the promise Kasamh Se, and was split to 4 seasons. The first being broadcast on 2012. The second season on 2013, third season fall 2013, fourth and final season fall 2013 and 2014. Multiple episodes are merged into a 1-hour-long episode with some scenes deleted to shorten the show time. This serial was also dubbed in Mandarin for Chinese channels. The show is the staple soap opera on CNC3 TV in Trinidad and Tobago. It was also possibly dubbed in Haitian. The show is also dubbed in French on Antenne Reunion. This was remade as Kinjur in Ghana on Zee TV in Sri Lanka. Cast. References. External links, Kasamh Se at the Internet Movie Database.